So where are you going tonight? Or is it like secret?
Tonight? No, it's not secret.
Like a Squid Game thing?
No. Tonight is just like a dinner and...
So quick, first of all, welcome here. So nice to have you here. Quick introduction. Who are you? And now we know you're going to a wedding in Stockholm, but you are into coffee.
Let me think. Have I devoted the last 10 years of my life to something that I'm not into? No, I definitely am into coffee. Yeah, I'm Alex from the Coffee Vine. I live in Amsterdam. Yep. I've been there nearly 20 years. I was born in Mexico City. My mom is Mexican. My dad is German. And I was raised in Germany, but I also lived in the UK for 5 years. And for the last almost 20 years, I've been living in Amsterdam, living my best life.
Yeah.
I've been in coffee for over a decade now.
And Coffee Wine?
Coffee Vine is my coffee love child.
10 years? Is it 10 years?
It's been 10 years, yeah.
Oh my God.
June was 10 years. I threw a party to celebrate. It was very fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels crazy to think that it's been so long, because I feel like I'm still only discovering things, I'm still only learning.
Yeah.
But I loved every minute of it, even the difficult ones where I was like, what am I doing? On the edge of a breakdown, and like, but it was an amazing experience, working with coffee, and most importantly, the people that I've met, everyone that I've met along the way, and the places I've been to, and no matter where I go in the world, I can connect with someone, either through Instagram or because they know me, or because they are my customer or roaster or producer or whatever, and it's fabulous. I love it.
So did it start as a subscription service or developed into one?
It developed into one. Yeah. I've always been passionate about telling stories and writing. When I was at university in the UK, I started writing travel articles for my student newspaper. And I even got nominated, 1 year as like best student writer in the UK. And I was like, this is amazing. I didn't win. But this kind of sparked an interest in telling stories about my travels, which I've always loved. Since I was little, my parents have taken me on trips. So when I discovered specialty coffee around 2012, 2013, I was like, maybe I can write little articles about the places that I find, like the cafes and the roasters and so on. It was like really early days. I was just about leaving a job that I hated with a passion. And I started this blog, and I named it The Coffee Vine. And the name comes from this English saying that when you hear something like a rumor almost, you heard it on the grapevine,
The grapevine.
The grapevine,
okay.
Yeah. It's like this, even Björk used to call her website The Grapevine. Yeah, so there was another connection there. I'm a huge Björk fan. So I called it The Coffee Vine because I wanted people to kind of find out about new coffee places through the coffee vine. You know what I mean? So it was like the place where you would discover the newest cafes and whatever. And then when I left this job in 2013, I was like, okay, I need something new. And I was I wasn't desperate, but I was also like at a fork in the road to figure out, okay, what's next for me. And the Coffee Vine had quite a loyal following already. I was organizing coffee tours around Amsterdam, walking, cycling, workshops, different things, starting to build a name for myself. And then I got a lot of inspiration from American subscription companies that were already up and running, like Craft Coffee from Brooklyn, and whatever. I was like, I think I can do that here. So that's how the Coffee Vine became a coffee subscription.
Super cool. But now it's also, you can go in, pick whatever you want kind of store, or is it only a coffee subscription?
So it's primarily a subscription. I do also have other releases like the Gems, in which you were part. I also have a decaf every month. People can also buy, for example, the global roasters that I pick every month individually, because I know that some people just want to add one bag, It has not yet morphed into this kind of like marketplace shop situation, because I do still want people to subscribe, and I do want people to also enjoy the sets that I select, because it's, a lot of effort goes into sourcing all these coffees and, finding all these roasters. So I want people to also enjoy them. But I have a very large part of my business is also so-called collectives, which are groups of people in different countries that order as one big
Yes.
Almost like a big organism,
Yes.
you know what I mean?
We have a few of those,
right?
In like Hong Kong and some places.
Exactly. So I have this like huge one in Mumbai, for example. You know, there's like 50 people there ordering every month. Sometimes just one bag, sometimes the whole set. You know, and they really, you know, they really, they love having access to these coffees because for them it's really a big hassle to source coffees, you know, because of high import taxes, shipping costs. Some roasters don't even ship to India, you know, and there's a really big scene of people that are really curious. And that's just one place. But
we have starting to get into India. There's also like a collector who buys.
Is it Ashwin?
I'm probably so.
he's my guy as well. You're seeing this or hearing this, Ashwin. Big love to you.
And funny story that the couple that came in 1 hour ago here just knocked on the door and they had like their kid in the stoller, what it's called.
Yeah.
And they were like, I read about you on Google. I didn't understand if it was open or not. So we just gave it a go. They came in. And and I'm like, you should subscribe to our. Oh no, we're totally fine. We're on the coffee wine. We have everything we need. And I was like,
I love that.
Is this a joke? Do you know that Alex is coming now? And he was like, oh my god, I love to meet him, and I've been subscribing for so long.
That's incredible.
So they are from Brunei, but they live in Geneva.
Okay.
So I think something like that.
That's so interesting.
And they spoke very warmly about the add-on function that you have. So you are like a subscriber, then you can add on again or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to learn from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I actually added a bunch of new subscription models. Not models, but like boxes. Because initially it was just the European roasters. Then I added the global roasters. Then I added the all roasters, which is basically European and global roasters together. And you also have a total package, so to say. Yeah, it's called the total package, which also includes the decaf and the gems. But because the gems is only every other month, I don't offer that as a subscription because the price changes. You know, it's like depending on what I pick. So it's really like a one-off box that a lot of people order because they want to get the whole package.
Decaf is growing.
It's grown a lot.
Especially, have you stumbled across, or obviously you have, like good decaf?
Yes.
Because we got a lot of samples, and I say to Alex, like, we need to get a decaf in. And he's like, but then we get samples and they are like really, really good. But then they are like extremely expensive.
Really?
Yeah, on the ones that of the samples we got. Like really experimental processing and like crazy varieties and stuff. So it's like, is this going into our like competition box series or is it like going out in the jars or what's the fit? So if you have any recommendations, please send them.
I mean, I have now featured this one origin 3 times. El Vergel from Colombia.
We had them like 2 years ago. Yeah, but
it's
non-decaf. Yeah,
but it's so good.
Cool.
It's vibrant. It's alive. You know, because a lot of decaf in the past was like really dead. It was like, no flavor. You know, I had and actually I have to say, I discovered a lot of interesting roasters through this decaf project that James Hoffman did. One roaster, for example, that was featured in the last decaf for this month is from Vienna, called D, stands for decaf. And she, the owner, Miriam, she had this coffee from El Vergel, and I was so blown away by it. And actually, when I choose my coffees, I do a monthly blind cupping. And even though I'm the one putting the coffees on the table, I sometimes forget in which order they are, you know? And I went through the coffees, and when I was taking my notes, I was like, number 4, I was like, oh my God, so vibrant, so fresh, you know, so delicious. What is this? And then I looked and I was like, it's the decaf. I was like, oh my God, mind is blown, you know?
Super cool.
So I think there is so much going on that is lifting the quality, you know, but also just it's making it so interesting to drink because you can have a cup of decaf and it feels like you're drinking a normal coffee.
Yeah. And they really, I think, like, I'm not into the farming side, but they really figuring out how to make it decaf. Do you know more about like what's the latest news on how to decaf?
I mean, there's loads of different processes, you know, sugarcane, CO2, you know, Swiss water, and all these other, you know, I think each one has its own benefits. I personally prefer processes that are natural, like the sugarcane decaf is pretty natural. You know, there's not really any chemicals or whatever used to extract the caffeine. I think you can compare it a little bit with what's going on with beer. and non-alcoholic beers, because I don't drink alcohol anymore already for 4 years. I'm sober, and in the beginning I really struggled with non-alcoholic beers.
Kan jag få en till kopp, Alex? One more cup, please.
I love that we're getting like, a selection of.
Yes. So the first one is Pink Bourbon from Juan Jimenez. Like this spiciness, for me, it's like almost like a piney tone into it, which is like super nice in many Pink Bourbons. This is one of our top tier coffees in our range of specialty at the moment.
Right.
And then we have the super duper extra everything Hydro Honey Shiroso by Nestor Lasso. I think by the smell of it, you get it. This came second now in the Swedish Championships this weekend.
Wow.
So that's an extra everything cup of coffee.
We'll let it cool for a moment.
Yes, that's good. So nice here. So 10 years subscribers. Do you it's shipped worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ship worldwide.
Any market that's bigger because for us, like we only have I think it's like 15% of the sales in Sweden, which is quite crazy. And over now almost 21% in the States. So
States is not a big market for me.
No?
As I said, the collectives are really big because they order a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have collectives in places like India, Pakistan, Georgia, Israel, Kuwait.
Israel is huge for us.
Israel is also very, very
Have you
big.
been there?
Yeah, I've been there. I hosted an event there
oh my God.
in 2017. I think.
Cool.
I was there for a wedding as well. And it was packed, and there was a lot of interest because at the time there was just very bad locally roasted specialty coffee. So people were like really desperate to get coffee in from outside. It's getting better now from what I've heard, but I haven't been back in a long time. But also just within Europe, like the Netherlands is my biggest market for subscribers and one-off boxes. And then the next biggest markets are Germany, Switzerland, France. So mostly Western Europe. Yeah. There are some people in Scandinavia, some people in Eastern Europe as well. A lot of people in Italy, funnily enough. Italy, Switzerland. And then I have like a couple of really strange, I have like, for example, I have a collective in Greenland.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I don't think we have Greenland. Do you know how many countries we shipped to in 2 years?
No.
Not to brag. It's 83 now.
Wow.
Yes, that's many. But I don't think we have Greenland.
Oh.
Boom. You beat us there. Let's change the subscribers.
You have Brunei?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So love the name Malibu.
Malibu?
Yeah.
Is that a cafe?
Yes. They have I think it's a cafe or it's a collector cafe kind of story. Right. But he's Amali. He's buying good amounts back like every now and then. And I love the thing. Like if you go into his Instagram, he's like rotating roasters and the couple that was here now. They told me like in Brunei there's like a few of him like getting coffee into Brunei, but they all respect each other and then they don't go on each other's roasters. So he's like, I have Standout in my team, so he focused like and a few others of course.
Yeah,
but it's really cool. Like they don't like step on anyone's toes and just bring in different coffees.
I like that.
Yeah. So normal like specialty coffee subscription Gems, right? How's Gems going?
It was always small, because it's quite expensive.
It's very niche.
It's very niche. Coffees, you get coffees in 100 gram bags. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
But I think again, it is something that is growing a lot. You see a lot more roasters doing like limited releases. Everywhere you see them coming in tins and little boxes and whatever. And I think last December when I worked with Datura from Paris, that's when it really exploded because I usually ordered like 30 to 40 bags maybe, and then suddenly it was almost 100.
Yeah.
And, the same thing again happened with special guests. They were my last Gems roaster. And the interesting thing is that I'm getting access to, people that I would not have access to otherwise. Like when I worked, for example, with Substance Cafe in Paris, he had never worked with a subscription company before. So I was the first one because I'd met him before. We had a really good rapport. We really liked each other. I respect his work. He respects what I do. And he was like, you know what? Let's work together.
Yeah.
And, these kind of relationships are built on, first of all, reputation, but also like the quality and the attention to detail. And I think a lot of people also appreciate that I'm trying to do different things, to meet also where they are, not just saying like, I have one box, and if you don't fit this price point, then, go to hell.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm trying to also find different things that suit different people. And also, for example, with the global roasters, the way I work with them is that I take care of all the shipping and the import duties and so on, so they don't have to worry. I just send them a FedEx label and they ship their coffee over
that's smart.
at my expense.
Okay, good.
But because the coffee is more expensive for the customer, it takes more effort to get it. But that opens the door to work with people from all around the world, and I'm only scratching the surface of relationships that I'm building, which is incredible.
And I love the idea of getting a subscription company like yours or a Cafe Box in Norway, like to this like level of volume. So like roasters are like, oh my God, he's calling. Like you can really make a difference, not only from like for roasters, but of course for farmers like producing the coffee. But it's like it's cool when like companies grow, and so they can like really turn someone's day around. Like,
I mean, this is not something that I like. I get off on, like at all. Like, but when I hear people, when I know a friend, for example, like Stephen Houston, from Lucid, I've known him for years. He was at Bailey's before. We've known each other. He's roasted many coffees for my box. And when he started Lucid, I was his first really big wholesale customer. Because I said to him, he said to me, I started this new roastery. Like, I would love to work with you. I was like, I will support anything you do because I respect you, And so we worked together, and and since he's just been featured again, like the last, in February this month, he was back with another coffee, and I've been so happy to see him grow and his business flourish, And this gives me a lot of pride because I love being part of somebody else's growth and to make a difference for them, just like they make a difference for me, Because if I call a roaster and say, hey, I'd love to work with you, and they're like, oh my God, we are so excited, Like that gives me so much joy because I'm like, oh, cool. They know what I do.
Yeah.
And it's all about, at the end of the day, relationships and, being, respectful towards each other's work and, honoring the work, and building a relationship, which is super important.
Yeah. We got like the most amazing feedback we could ever get from a farmer in Colombia. I think he sent a voicemail to Alexander and said like, oh my God, Alex, this happened just like 2 or 3 of my neighboring farms came over to like a bottle of champagne or something.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, what's the occasion? Like, why? They're like, you made it. What do you mean? What do you mean you made it? You were in the Standout Coffee subscription. Now, like, look at Instagram. You're like all over the place now.
Wow.
And he was like so happy for this and thankful. And like we are still small and we work with very niche and highly exclusive coffees. But I think in one way, because people ask, oh, what do you do for, how can you make a difference for everyone and stuff like, when we get the feedback that farmers are selling out of their coffee after they were featured in our subscription, because they reached subscribers in like these countries that they never got their coffee in, we send them roasted coffee. They take it to their local coffee roasteries or probably working at coffee roasteries. They try the coffee and they're like, oh my God, this producer was amazing. And they don't call us, they call the producer. And they're like, do you have anything more? Yes. And like to get that feedback around is like that's what we work for.
Yeah.
Like to really like connect everyone. And when we hear stories like that they are selling out, not only because of our subscription, of course, but they are like hitting markets that they never found before.
Yeah.
Thanks to our subscribers. And I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing that, you sometimes don't appreciate just how far your work travels, I don't know all of my subscribers.
No.
I've met a lot of them in person, sometimes at a coffee festival. They're like, hi, I'm such and such. And I'm like, oh my God,
Because it's cool when they have we have people that have been ordering like 40 or 50 times and stuff like that. Like, you know them by name because you've seen the packing slips so many times over the years. And then when they finally hit you up in Paris or wherever you are, oh my God, I've been subscribing for so long. And is that you? You're a 65-year-old man. I had no idea. It's like, it's really cool.
I love that.
Yeah. And cool. we were in Dubai last week for the World of Coffee, and a huge eye opener just to be there, but also to like, I never been there, but going around on the fair and people coming up and like, oh, I had your coffee in Kuwait and I'm a subscriber here and that, and like it's really cool to see. Like, of course they see us on Instagram and read about us and stuff, but when you meet people in person, you almost get a little bit like embarrassed, like, oh, thank you so much. And it's cool. Like,
I don't know, I mean, I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
And this is, also part of the internet, that people, you build a relationship with them, even though you don't know them personally. But like, for example, I feature in all of my content, whether I'm making a Coffee Vine mag, usually I'm on the cover. Lately, I've been trying to mix it up a little bit, so I'm not always on the cover. But I'm in all my content, I reply to all my emails. People know my face. So like, not last year, but the year before, I was in Milan at the coffee festival, and I was just wandering around, and there's like so many people came up to me and they're like, oh my God, you're Alex from the coffee. Can we have a picture? And it was so funny because like when people say to me like, I'm such and such, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. And know their names, like I recognize them. I'm like, you live there, you do this, blah, blah, blah.
I know your address.
Yes. Yeah. I know where you live. So, this kind of relationship that you build with your customers is super unique.
Yeah.
Because if you have a cafe and somebody comes in, of course you have your regulars, you know them, you know their orders, you chat with them, you know their names, you know what they do. But when you ship some coffee to people every month for years,
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And I was just the other day, I was looking at, because I had some issue with somebody's payment method, I was looking at this person's total spend on Coffee Vine boxes over the years.
Yeah.
And it was like 5K.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, oh my God, this is insane.
But they get amazing coffee.
Yeah.
They fulfill their dreams of drinking this coffee.
Yeah.
And they enjoy life. And it's like, if they don't buy lattes every day, the coffee wine is probably way cheaper.
Totally.
That's like, if you look at like the Chiroso, of course, 100 grams is costs a lot of money, but still, if you like break it down into single cups and stuff, and so I think if you're interested in anything in the world, like bikes or music gear or whatever, like 5K, that's just like the monthly fee, almost. Sure. If you're like take bikes, for example, like you put so much money into it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I really love about like coffee geeks, like we are, like, because it's such a nice community. And especially now when we go abroad, we went to Benchmark in Dubai, probably one of the top 3 coffee experience for me ever. That was so good.
Wow.
And they were like, oh my God, are you Standout guys? And like, then you get some coffee for free, which is nice, but still, like, it's just like,
yes.
Then you really see power of internet,
yeah,
like to really connect everyone and
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So nice. I don't know. Super nice chat. Anything you want to add? Because you're going to a wedding.
I am going to a wedding. Yes, I'm excited to visit a lot of great cafes in Stockholm.
Yes.
The last time I was here was very long ago, 8 years, 9 years maybe.
Yeah.
It's a shame the weather is a bit meh. I was like, I'm wearing these light colored pants and I've been getting in and out of the dirtiest cabs I've ever seen. And I'm always like super scared of jumping into a puddle because I have outfits, that I want to wear at this wedding, and limited outfits. But I'm excited to connect with people like Joanna. I'm going to see her tomorrow. Nice. I'm going to visit a bunch of different cafes that I have on my list.
Yeah.
And I'm going to invest more time in my TikTok, which I've recently launched. I've been really struggling with content ideas because I'm like, I have to do Coffee Vine. I have to do Fresh Drip, which is my other brand. I also have a comedy quiz with my best friend, Maxine, which is a really cool thing that we do together, which is non-coffee related. And my personal thing, so I'm like, sometimes I'm like, it's too much.
Let's add TikTok.
Let's add TikTok.
Yeah.
But I want to create a really fun video about my favorite coffee bars in Stockholm, and hopefully
I think that's connecting
explode
so
as much
well
as,
to your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you briefly talked about it before we started recording.
Video, which
because I think that is like that in terms of, for us, I've done 2 proper brew videos, like a V60 brew, and over a year later now, like constantly, it's like top on our YouTube page, like hundreds of views, like just ticking in, and it's so cool. Yeah, it's really cool that, because sometimes I think that everyone knows everything.
Oh no, they don't.
Like and there's so many new people. Just as you said, you're just scratching the surface. Like there's so many people out there that can experience and find specialty coffee and be the geek that we are in the future.
Yes,
and even though they live in Amsterdam, like to have a new updated map of great spots. Yeah. And even like you maybe had like a certain cup of coffee in that shop. Like, so I want to have what he had. Like,
right.
So
it's the interesting thing is we need to remember that we are like, we're riding the wave, but there's a lot more people coming behind. Yes. And even though you think that everyone's already made all the content in the world, like, you have your own audience. Yes. You have your own people that you're talking to.
And people consume new content all the time.
Exactly. And, even though somebody else, like Lance Hedrick might have made a video a year ago about something, unless you're looking for it specifically, you will not find that video unless you are following him or you're looking for that. Yeah. So it's always good to refresh and bring back things and try to reach new people.
Yeah. So we're going to put everything in the descriptions of your whatever we find you.
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, everything.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm very excited to be here. I brought you a...
Yes, I only had one. I was like thinking, should I eat during the podcast? And I was like, no. So when we stop this video, I'm going to...
Yeah, exactly. But thanks a lot for having me. It's been a pleasure.